Good morning, everybody. Well, we're back doing our favorite thing of the week. Maybe that sounds like we should get some hobbies or something, but we love this show. This is Earl Stewart live. You just heard my recorded introduction, and we've been doing this show for a long time. The regular listeners are getting tired of me saying that, but it is a long time. And 20 plus years.
Mic on?
Nancy Stewart and myself founded this show back in the day.
Hey,
30
Earl.
minutes.
Unfortunately, I think your mic may have been off.
Oh boy.
You may want to start over there, boss.
Okay. How do I turn? Is my mic on now?
Yep,
Oh.
I just started hearing you. At first, I wasn't hearing you in the headphones. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? Are my headphones down? But
Might
no,
have been a better show. My mic was off.
Sorry about that, folks.
I'll try it without my mic on someday. Anyway, I said this is our favorite thing we do every week. Nancy Stewart and I. We founded the show back in 20 plus years ago. I can't remember what year it was, but half an hour. It was on Seaview Radio. It was 30 minutes on Thursday, I think. I can't even remember now. Now it's 2 hours live every Saturday from 8 to 10 Eastern Standard Time. And we're persistent if nothing else. We had been pushing and pushing and pushing to bring your life of buying, leasing, maintaining, or repairing a car into a better position. And that voice you just heard telling me my microphone wasn't working is Rick Kearney. Rick Kearney is probably the most important part of the show. We used to think it was about buying cars and leasing cars, but let's face it, folks, if you've been around for a while, you know that maintaining and repairing your car is actually more expensive than anything else you do. I mean, you can get hosed when you buy a car, and you do, because this is Florida. In fact, this is South Florida, but we're international. I have to keep reminding people of that. But boy, oh boy, can you pay through the nose for maintenance and repairs if you're not careful. And I got a guy sitting next to me, Rick Kearney. He's been with me for a quarter of a century. Does that make you feel old, Rick?
Yeah, but I am old.
And he can fix them all. I mean, and I say that not just because we've been around for a while, but, I think if you have a perspective of how to fix the basics, if you stay on top of technology, you have a better grasp of the technology. There's a front page article I just showed Rick in my automotive news, and the headline is Dipstick Slides into Obsolescence. Now, this is almost humorous. Dipstick slides into obsolescence. Now, we got people out here listening to the show. Hopefully, we got a few youngsters out there say, what the hell is a dipstick? Well, a dipstick is an archaic dinosaur of cars that shouldn't be around anymore. There's still a few left out there, but cars are rocket ships today, folks. We're looking at SpaceX here. We're talking about high tech, and Rick has been on top of this. So if you've got a spaceship or if you've got a buggy, Rick has pretty much worked the spectrum. And I'm not suggesting that you want to get something for free, but if you have a potentially expensive repair on your car, a tick, 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 a smell, those little things that worry you when you start the car up or when it won't start up in the morning, and you say, oh boy, and you start seeing your checkbook, your credit card statement, I got to go to the dealer. You might be surprised what a call to 877-960-9960 might do. 877-960-9960. You might save yourself a few bucks. I mean, we have callers, and they're listening now, I hope, and they will be listening later, that have saved literally thousands of dollars because what they thought was a problem was not a problem, or it was a problem, but the fixed cost was much less than they'd been told or anticipated. Long story short, Rick Kearney, certified diagnostic master technician. If you will call this number, 877-960-9960, Nancy Stewart, who is sitting right across from me in the studio, she will stop everything. She'll wave at me. She'll throw a bottle of water at me. She'll get my attention, because when a call comes in, we want to take those phone calls. We've only got 5 lines, and sometimes they get jammed up, and people wait and wait, and then they hang up, and we hate it when that happens. So if you want to call Rick Kearney, dial 877-960-9960. We changed chairs in the studio, by the way, just so Nancy and I could look at each other and she could signal me better, because there's all sorts of things going. Callers call. We have other important things. She sits at control central here with the show. So if I don't hear her or see her, the show goes into the bucket. So I'll stop what I'm doing. She'll wave at me, and I'll have Rick Kearney tell you what's wrong with your car. He'll give you a diagnosis. Ask any questions you can. You cannot stop Rick, I promise you. Now, I know I'm rambling on, but I'll stop when Nancy tells me to. We have some breaking news today, and I'm telling you, breaking news. I keep saying how long we've been around on this show. We've been through a lot of attorney generals, and we have had no attorney general that's ever done their job. We pick on Ashley Moody these days, but Ashley's only one of, I think, 4 attorney generals. When we started the show, there was a guy by the name of Bob Butterworth. He was the attorney general. And they passed some great laws back in Bob's day. And the problem is, nobody cares. We have great laws protecting you, the car buyer, and nobody cares. And we've been through now on our 4th attorney general. So the exciting news is that all the dealers in Florida got a certified letter to the registered owner of the dealership. Now that's got to go to the head man. There are a lot of dealerships out there that are owned by people you don't even know who they are. You think Arrigo dealerships are owned by Joe and Jim Arrigo. They're not. They're owned by a guy named Larry Morgan. You think that this Hyundai store or that Nissan store is owned by somebody. It's really Terry Taylor who owns it, but he hides his name. But he's a registered agent. And so all the big shots, all the people that know, got this certified letter that said, and the letter basically says, I'm paraphrasing, watch out, folks. They have woken up. Is that right? Or have they waked up? Something like that. English teachers, please tell me. Anyway, the fact of the matter is, on September 1st, I know here you are with another deadline, they're going to start fining dealers and putting dealers, canceling, I started to say in jail, canceling dealers' franchises. And this is so important that...
I like that.
What?
That slip. Gonna put them in jail.
Yeah, put them in jail.
Where they belong,
Yeah.
those dogs.
Yeah, it's so important that they want the dealership's registered agent. So my dealership is having my general counsel, my legal counsel, attend what they call a roadshow meeting to get the literal verbal online in front present Q&A kind of an answer as to, are they really getting serious about enforcing the Florida law that's been there for 20 years since Bob Butterworth? And that's the breaking news. We'll talk about that. And we got a lot of really sharp people out there. YouTube.com/Earl on Cars. Those are Rick's followers. And Facebook.com/Earl on Cars. And there's also, of course, our texters, 772-497-6530. Now I'm yakking. I'm going to turn the microphone over to Nancy Stewart. She is my co-host. Most of you know her. If you knew you don't, if you knew you don't know her, you should know her, because she is not only an incredibly knowledgeable person when it comes to cars, she's an incredible person when it comes to female rights and women's rights. And she has built this audience of ours over the past 20 years to parity. We have 50-50 women, and she has a super special offer for female callers. And if you're a lady and you're afraid to call, don't be afraid. You can send a text or an anonymous feedback. She'll tell you about that too. I'm yakking. I'm turning the mic over to Nancy.
Sounds good. Good morning, everyone. Let's step back to what you were talking about, this letter that went out to, certified letter that went out to all the franchises, okay?
Yeah, 500 dealers, yeah.
And is this fact or is this fiction? This all began with Bob Butterworth's wife, who, is it fact or fiction? Seriously, I did read this, but who knows? She was charged a $35 undercoating fee.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know what undercoating is, but that's fact. The only reason we got this regulation on the books, the Florida regulation on the books, that no one's enforcing, is because Bob Butterworth's wife got taken advantage of to the tune of $35. Right now, wives are being taken advantage of, and husbands are being taken advantage of to the tune of $3,500, and still nothing is being done. But yeah, that's back many years ago when he was.
And he was Attorney General in 1987.
1987. That's when the law went through. It's been there over 20 years.
Okay, sounds good. And this letter that went out, ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you, this is certainly connected, with this whole thing that Earl has been working on, which seems like forever, and that is the cracking down on junk fees, lowering costs for consumers, everything. So this is all going to come together, and it'll be successful finally. It definitely has been a long journey with Ashley Moody. I'm going to get to the ladies real quick. Ladies, $50 for the first two new lady callers. Give us a call toll free at 877-960-9960. We have our mystery shopping report this morning from none other than Coconut Creek, very famous South you kind of do battle down there. They're well known for charging everybody everything that comes in and purchases a vehicle. We're going to go, I'll talk to you later about Zoom. We're going to get right to the phones. We're going to talk to Earl, and he's calling us from Stewart. Good morning, Earl.
I'm here. You mean there's another Earl?
How are you this
Hi,
morning?
Earl.
Hello.
Maybe it is
Good
me.
morning, Earl.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Hey Google, turn off the timer. Caught me mid-playing.
I was so shocked because there are very few of us Earls around. Nice to meet another Earl, always.
And I'm in Stewart.
Oh, God, get out of here. I love it.
Hey, two questions. I just had to upgrade. I had to upgrade to a new car, and one is about tires. And I got an annoying feedback on my phone. Let me get off the
Maybe you
speaker.
could
Turn your radio off.
turn off your...
No, my radio's off.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, now it's better. No, it's not. I'm still hearing myself. But let me try to trek through it.
So you're picking up an echo?
Yeah, I'm hearing everything I'm saying. I don't know how to turn that off.
Can you move further away from the phone?
Well, I have it in my hand.
Well, that's not going to be easy.
All right, how's that? How's that?
Sounds good now.
You sound good to us. We hear you fine.
All right, anyway, I'll just have to listen myself. This new car...
Excuse me. Hey, Earl, maybe if you set the phone right down on your desk or your console in your car, wherever you are, and separate yourself, mouth to phone, the speaker.
All right.
Maybe that'll help.
How's that?
That's good. We can hear you real well.
Yeah, no, but... All right, I'll try without the speaker. Am I still there?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right, I'm going to just go through with it. Anyway, 20,000 miles I bought the car.
Mm-hmm.
I got a flat tire within the first month. Or not a flat tire, it was reading low. Sense was reading low. So I took it to the dealership. There was a nail on the inside of the tire. I had to replace the tire.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other tires have 20,000 miles on them. This has nothing. What do I do when I rotate these things?
Rick?
Unfortunately, the best answer really is just continue the rotation normally, because otherwise the three tires that you've got that are old, you're going to get some ugly wear patterns there. And obviously, they're depending on how you drive the car, you might still have a lot of life left on those. I would continue with your normal rotation pattern.
Okay, that's what I thought I was going to do. All right, the second one. This is the first car that I've owned that's truly, really electronic. What I mean by that is I was always taught when I grew up to turn off the AC so that when you start the car back up, it doesn't put a strain on the engine. You just turn the AC back on after the car starts. Now, whether that was somebody just trained me to do that, I think it was my dad, but nonetheless, this I really can't do it because it's digital.
Yep.
Does it matter, or when I start the car up and the AC's already on, is that hurting anything?
That used to be the case back in the old days when you turned the key on, everything got power, and of course when you fired the car up first, it put a bit of an extra strain on it. So if you wanted to really try to get every bit of lifespan out of that car, yeah, it was a good idea to shut things down at when you turned the car off. But nowadays, the way the computers control it, they automatically do that. They turn everything off, and when you start the car, it'll keep that stuff off for a moment or two, and then slowly bring it on. You'll notice when you turn the AC on, you can set it all the way up to high, and most of the newer cars, the fan will start out real slow, and then bring itself gradually up, and the computers are programmed to do that automatically now, so you don't have to. The engineers have really thought about a lot of these things, and they have made them so fine-tuned now so that it expands the lifespan of these cars and the lifespan of the parts.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Well, thanks, guys. I really appreciate your help.
Well, you got a great name, Earl. We'll call again anytime.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day. 877-960-9960. Or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And I mentioned earlier that I was going to mention Zoom, and we're under construction.
Yeah,
so
work in
to
process
speak.
still.
Yeah, so have some patience, and it'll be up and running.
Yeah, we have the Zoom technology. It's a little rusty, and we got Jonathan, who is our technical guy, and it caught us all by surprise, including the radio station. The radio station was caught by surprise because it's a new technology for radio. I mean, Zoom's not new, obviously, but how many radio stations do you know that do that? What we're going to do, we were paying $100 for the first so many Zoom callers, but we don't want to promulgate a lot of echoing and confusion, and we'd like to get to the essence of the show. So if you do want to call us on Zoom, you have to have a Zoom account, and Nancy can give you that number. But we're not going to be rewarding anyone. If you're a regular Zoom, if you called us before successfully, you might want to try it again, because we have worked out a few bugs, and it probably is better. But we're going to be. I hate to make promises that we can't keep, but I think we're going to be ready to go next Saturday for sure. Nancy?
Jonathan just passed me a note that we are up and running, but for me to remind everyone out there to use a pair of earphones.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, that's what he told me too. I forgot.
Yeah. So
wear your headphones if you're a Zoomer, and we'll give you the account number for Zoom.
You want that now?
After I get through talking about the headphones, but you can't use your mic on your PC. You had to plug a separate earphones into your PC, and with your earphones, we think that might iron out the problem. So we encourage you Zoom callers who are technical savvy enough to have the account number that Nancy will give you in just a minute, and also technical savvy enough to have a set of earphones you can plug in to your PC. Now back to Nancy.
Okay, that meeting ID number is 926-589-0586. Again, 926-589-0586. I think we're going to go back to the recovering car dealer.
Okay, the older I get, I mean, I hope this isn't a danger signal, but I start having these memories of the past. My memory of today isn't that good, but I had this recollection. We shopped a car dealer today, and I didn't mention mystery shopping reports because that's the highlight of the show. And I got to keep reminding myself that half the people, I pulled that out of my head. I just don't know how many tune in for the first time every week. I don't know what it's a significant percentage though. So if you haven't tuned in, the most exciting part of our show is the mystery shopping report, where we send an undercover agent, literally secret agent, and we call that agent Agent Lightning, and she goes in, female, she goes into dealerships around the United States, mainly Florida, mainly Southeast, but also Michigan, and she's been around Pennsylvania. So we do a mystery shopping, a separate one. We go in and we don't play games. We pretend to buy a car. We tell you, our live radio audience, exactly what happened. If you were trying to take advantage of, if laws were broken, if ethics were violated, if bait and switch advertising occurred, if drug fees and all the other nasty stuff that we talk about on the show, we tell you about it. So this particular mystery shopping report is on a dealership in South Florida called Lou Baccarat. You folks have been down in South Florida for a while. Most people haven't heard of him, but if you're a South Florida person, Baccarat, B-A-C-H-R-O-D-T, Lou Baccarat, been around for a long, long time, as long as I have. And that goes back to my, primary reason for making this comment, that back in the 80s, Lou Baccarat and I were selected by the J.D. Power Group, and you're familiar with the show. That's a big surveying group, not as prestigious as Gallup, but they are mainly car dealer type people. I'm going to stop. Nancy's got a call. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. That number is 877-960-9960. And we are going to go to Ellen, who's calling us from Pompano Beach. Good morning, Ellen. Welcome back.
Oh, thank you. Yes. I was just now, I'm getting that feedback too, but anyway. Do I sound okay to you?
Yeah.
You're loud and clear. It's just on your...
All right. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm seeing, I have a 2023 Toyota that I bought new, and I'm seeing rust on the brakes. Now, maybe I didn't notice it, and I thought when you drive that it's supposed to go away, but it doesn't seem to.
Rick Kearney can answer that.
Yeah, you're seeing it on the brake rotors themselves?
Squeak.
Seems like the rotor, and I think the brake pad.
Yeah. Unfortunately, in Florida, with our humidity, those rotors they'll get rust on them within an hour's time. It's Florida and the humidity. And that light little bit of surface rust, it'll wear off pretty quickly as you're driving, and it won't affect the safety or the performance of the brakes. You may get a little bit of a noise first thing in the morning, the first couple times that you step on the brakes.
Let me interrupt briefly. She said it won't go away, so I think that, Ellen, you must mean it does go away every day, but the next day, new ball game, and it comes back again. So it doesn't squeak all the time, just in the morning when you start it up and drive for the first couple of miles.
It's not squeaking. It's just, it looks that way.
Oh, you're looking at your brakes. Oh.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
when I bring it home, thinking that they say, well, when you drive it, that it's supposed to, go away, and it doesn't.
So, Ellen, you said this was a 2023 Toyota, and you've been hearing that sound since you drove off the lot.
It's not a sound, but
She sees it. She sees it. I don't know. How does she see it, Rick?
it's because there's the wheels have... The spokes of the wheels have big spaces between them.
Right.
So you can see the brake rotor in through those spaces.
Oh.
And it's going to get that light bit of surface rust. Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes it'll stay visible, but as long as the brakes are still functioning normally, I wouldn't worry about it. Unfortunately, it's just one of those things you kind of have to just accept because of South Florida.
Yeah, Even Ellen, and it also depends on where you're parked. What location you keep your car in, because I have the same thing that you have.
It's like a car
And like Earl
port,
said, Rick said, we live here in the state of Florida, and we deal with the elements.
The only thing I remember when I bought the car, and I did learn, well, I learned a lot from you, but that it was a new 2023, but I bought it in September, so you're supposed to treat it like it's a used car, which I never thought about. And I remember I looked at the tailpipe, and it was rusty. And I brought it back, and they said, well, that's normal, and they did nothing for me. I brought it back to the dealer.
Yeah, that's one of the ironies of buying cars is that the disclosure is so smoky and cloudy to the consumer. To be able to call a car new that's been sitting on the lot and rusting, as we just described to you, for a year or more, that car, if you had bought that car could have been on the lot for 3 years. You're going to be buying a 2021 car, and as long as it hasn't been titled, they're going to call it a new car, and that's just there should be better disclosure for people when they buy a quote-unquote new car, and being new means how long has it been sitting on the lot, just like as how long has it been driven.
Yeah, I just thought it's new, and that's good, and I didn't even think about, I never got an adjustment on the price or anything because of that, but I learned that from you anyway, so that was among other things. So you think if I brought it back to the dealer, because it is under warranty, with the brake, when the rust, then they're not going to do anything?
I don't think there's much they'll be able to do for you. They're going to tell. They might tell you to hose it down or something. I'm not sure.
There's really nothing that can be done for that. Do you happen to live near the salt water?
I live a couple of blocks away.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have actually seen customer cars that you could literally tell by looking at the brake rotors that one side of the car is, when they're parking it, that same side faces towards the salt water more than the other side, just because the way the wind would blow the salt, and like the passenger side would be solid rust under there, and the driver's side only have half as much.
I noticed that.
It's just an environmental thing in Florida.
So, Ellen, if it's any consolation to you at all, what Rick just shared with you and what I shared with you about location, and I have the same thing on my car from the elements. If that satisfies you, and I hear a little doubt in your voice.
No, we're all in the same boat.
If it means, I would to set your mind at ease. Go back to the dealership, see what they say. You might get somebody else. Who knows? It's worth it.
Yeah. Well, Rick said to water it down. Now, do you dry it?
No, because even spraying water on there isn't going to do anything, because the rust it's oxidation, and it's caused just by the air. But of course, when they get damp, then it actually helps to it acts as a catalyst to help make that oxidation occur quicker.
You have to wash and dry
so
it,
no,
which would be
no water.
Yeah, and
Hey, Ellen,
even then, it's going to come right back.
We won't be doing any watering or anything like that. Ellen, I've got some calls backed up. Could you give us a call next week and let us know?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. We're going to go to the Road Runner, and that's Road Runner Steve. Good morning. Hey, babe.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I see they paid the ransom for $25 million to the people that hacked the car companies.
Oh, you're talking about CDK?
Yeah.
Huh.
And what makes it think they're not going to do it again?
Well, what can I say? One thing I've learned over all these years is don't believe anything that the government says, much less the Florida Attorney General's office. So you got to have hope. I hope you got to have hope.
Yeah, plus they use that cryptocurrency, which cannot be traced anywhere, when they make the payoff.
Well, that's exactly what's happening. You can't make this stuff up, Steve. You can't make it up that the car dealers, and it isn't just the state of Florida, almost every state, the car dealers, money talks. I won't say the rest of that, but I will too. Bullshit walks. So beat me.
Oh,
But,
that's the first time I ever heard that.
but money talks.
The,
And if you just look at politics today, national or otherwise,
You're out of here.
you'll see any politician you see, you know exactly what's going on. He's telling you what you want to hear to reelect him or her, and that's what happens. It's life. It's the best system in the world, folks. I do not want to move to India or China or any other place. I love America, but our best system has got some flaws, and one of them is the way we elect our politicians. And when you elect a politician, Attorney General in Florida, going all the way back to Bob Butterworth up to Ashley Moody, if you want to get elected Attorney General of the state of Florida, you got to pay off the Florida Automobile Dealers Association, which is nothing more than a political action committee, a giant organization formed to raise funds to protect car dealers. That's life. Insurance companies have it. Every big bit of pharmaceutical has it. I mean, just read the papers.
Yeah.
Everybody owns the politicians.
Yeah, and Steve, you asked a question. You wanted to know if it would be the last cyber attack. You know something? I know the answer to that as I sit here in this chair. Absolutely not. Anyway, do you have any other questions? I've got some calls
yeah.
backed up.
Did you read? Did you hear about the story in Phoenix, Arizona? A cop pulled over a car that was driving erratically. The cop car follows him. The cop gets out of the car. He goes up to the car. There's nobody driving. It's one of those taxis, self-driving taxis. Like that. The cop don't know what to do now. Now
That's right.
comes over.
Wait a
And
minute.
ask him, "Are you having a problem?" He goes, "Yeah, there's no driver." So they had the court. They have a phone number in the car or something, and they call them up and they tell them, "Hey, your car's driving erratic all over the place."
I got it. The answer is just put the car in jail and make the owner come and bail it out. That way you had your cake and eat it too.
Okay, guys, I got to wrap it up.
Okay, wrap it up. Everybody stay safe and well. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Have a great weekend. We're going to go to Marty. Thanks for your patience, Marty. Welcome back.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
I have a question. My son who lives in Miami gave me a project for today, which I didn't really need. He's looking at a used Model S Tesla, and it has only 98,000 miles on it. So I wanted to ask Earl or Rick, what do I mean, I've driven a Tesla, but just for 2 minutes. What do I have to look for? And is 98,000 miles, I'd say maybe the battery's ready to go. So how do you know what to do?
Well, you can test the battery, and there Tesla has anybody that has a Tesla. This Tesla right on its instrument panel is a way to test the battery. So that's the number one and most important thing.
And that's done
number
with
two
an app?
thing is yeah.
On this,
Yeah.
because we discussed it.
Yeah, and the number two thing is you want to be sure that the price is right, because the prices of electric cars are dropping like rocks, and Tesla is probably holding up better than some. There's one manufacturer out there, I think it's Fisker. They're selling brand new cars on their lot. They went bankrupt for $14,000 a piece that they were charging $100,000 before. So if you have an electric vehicle that's not cutting it, the price drops. But if you get a good price on a Tesla S and the battery's strong, buy it. It's a good car. Your son will have fun with it.
Yeah, but he's buying it for his son.
Oh, well, his son.
So, that'll be like his first car. So to me, Teslas are very fast, so I don't know if it's a good idea, but I'm not going to discourage them if the price is right.
Well, that's a very good point. I forgot about that. I'm a 83-year-old kid, and I love speed. And this grandson of yours is probably more mature than I am. Hope for his safety.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Rick's got his finger up in the air.
yeah, go ahead, Rick.
Our buddy online, Donovan, has come up. He says you can go into the screen and on your main screen and look up how to get into service mode. He says it will tell you the vehicle's battery life, and it will also tell you any faults that the vehicle has in the service mode that the original owner, they can't hide that from you to be able to see it.
We love you, Donovan. God bless you. I love that caller. Wow.
Isn't he great?
In other words, if I ask the salesman when I go to look at this car today,
He won't know what you're talking about. Yeah. You have to find. I would take it to the Tesla. I'd say I want to take this car to the Tesla dealership, which is really a factory-owned outlet. I would tell them.
Hey.
I would tell them I want to buy this car and do what Rick or what Donovan just said to do. It'll tell you the full the chart, how well the battery's holding up, and anything that's wrong with the car. Right?
Yep.
And it won't cost you anything.
all right, take it down to Okeechobee Boulevard.
Yeah, Okeechobee Boulevard.
That's the location you
And
go
be sure
to.
the price is right, because electric car prices are in the toilet right now. If you ever was, but that's an average. See, I mean, so you know, Teslas are going to cost more than Fisker. So just be careful what you buy.
Hey,
In other words, you don't-
Marty,
you don't. Yeah.
you said that this was your son's first car?
No, it was my son telling me to go look. He went to buy it for his son.
Yeah, correct. His son. How old is his son?
Right now, he's 15 and he'll be 16 in November.
Oh boy.
That's interesting.
Those
Okay,
were the days,
back
my
to
friend.
Earl.
No,
Yeah.
no. I think it'd be great if he checks it out carefully, and just be sure he drives carefully, because those cars that Tesla has is faster than
Yeah,
the
that's
speeding
key.
bullet. Faster.
But you don't think 98,000 miles is too many miles?
No.
No, you got another lifetime on that car.
As a matter of fact, according to Donovan, he says that battery should last about 4 times that amount. So you're looking at a battery, the main battery, he says that's maybe 25% of its life.
Oh, I should give you the year of the car. The year is 2015.
15?
Still sounds like a baby to me.
All right.
Yeah, you got a lifetime.
I'll look at it, and if I don't know what I'm doing, I'll tell my son he better go look himself.
Yeah, I tell you, or he can tell him to call me. I mean, I love to talk about electric cars.
All right. All right, thanks.
Thanks, Marty. Have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend.
Our
too,
number
Marty.
here is 877-960-9960. You can also text us at 772-497-6530. Ladies, waiting for that first 2 new lady callers. Gonna win yourself $50 this morning. 877-960-9960. Now back to the recovering car dealer. Unless, Rick, you have some FaceTime?
Well, we've got our
Facebook? YouTube?
texts in. We can do Anne Marie's text.
Okay.
Let's see. She says, "Good morning. I'm familiar with 2-seater sports cars, sedans, and pickup trucks, but some of the other types of vehicles tend to blur together in my mind. They tend to be bigger, boxier, and hold more stuff than a sedan. Please clarify, what are the differences between SUVs, crossovers, and minivans? Is the designation of SUV, crossover, or minivan dependent on marketing, the number of passengers, towing capacity, cargo capacity, ground clearance, and or the type of frame they're built on? Is there a simple rule of thumb to tell them apart from one another?" Well, it's kind of an odd, tricky question there.
It is a marketing thing. I think crossover is a good name, but you give the details. But my thought was a crossover is just a word to cross over between an SUV and a van. In
Yep.
other words, vans used to be the big thing, and there was no such thing as an SUV, and then they evolved, and the crossover is the evolution.
To me, an SUV, a sport utility, can be the really big ones like the Sequoia, the 4Runner, like Ford Expedition, the really big ones, the Chevy Suburbans, Land Cruisers. These are the ones that have a full frame underneath the body, and they're actually a two-part vehicle where the frame and the body are separate. Smaller SUVs, which can include crossovers, these will be the ones that are unibody construction. The frame and the body are all one unit, and the driveline is added to it. And this would be like, say, a Highlander. The Hondas, most of the Hondas are this way.
Excuse me,
Which
Rick.
one's that?
Honda Pilot.
The Honda Pilot.
Would the unibody be similar to a vehicle?
How
The
do you mean?
unibody construction.
Well,
Is it similar to a passenger car?
yes.
Okay.
Unibody means that the frame and the body are all one entire unit together. You
Unlike-
can't actually separate them.
Okay, unlike a traditional SUV.
Right, unlike the big trucks where there's a frame and then the body is bolted down to the frame. Basically, it's going to be a matter of taste. Throwing a name on it, it's like the idea of, well, Shakespeare, a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. I mean, it doesn't really matter what you call it. It's what is the size and what size is that vehicle? Will it handle what you're looking to handle? For me personally, my wife has one of those little mobility scooters. So when we're looking at vehicles, we have to determine, is this going to be able to let her put that mobility scooter in the back of it and still have room for other things? And so everybody's different. You got to determine, will this vehicle be able to handle someone with a family where they've got 5 kids versus the group the family only has 2 kids or 1 kid or none, and maybe the person that has 3 dogs that they want to be able to carry along with them. You know, they've made so many different sizes now to be able to accommodate everybody. You get to just pick and choose the one that fits you.
That's a great answer.
If the shoe fits, wear it.
There you go. So that's it on your text.
Okay, that's for Anne Marie. And let's see, we got one here says YouTube isn't up, but no, we are up and running, I think, right now.
Sounds good. Does anybody have your anonymous feedback for me?
Well, I haven't checked that yet, but we'll.
Okay.
I'll check
Maybe
it right now.
Rick can get back to.
Yeah, Stu
maybe
out today, by the way, in
YouTubers?
case you haven't noticed. Stu is not feeling well, so we're having a double up on checking input, and I'll see what I can find with anonymous feedback.
Okay, and meanwhile, Kim Appreciates Life says you can get a good deal on Tesla Model 3s these days with the tax credits if you buy new.
Oh, I forgot to mention that. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And Donovan, backing that up, says, yes, there's an additional $4,000 for a tax credit on a used one that is under $25K. So apparently, if you're finding a used Tesla that is under $25,000, you can get an additional $4,000 tax credit even on a used electric vehicle.
Amazing.
So,
Good
folks,
news.
if you're going to look at a electric vehicle, used or new, investigate these tax credits because they are out there, and you can save a fortune.
And
the
Marty,
good, the
if
good
you're
news about the tax credit is now the government is now giving it directly to you, the buyer, whereas before, in their ignorance, they were giving it to the dealers. The dealers were hiding the tax credit and getting you to assign the tax credit over to them, just like they get the manufacturer to assign incentives over to them and not go to the customer. So you're protected with your electric vehicle tax credit, and it is substantial on a lot of vehicles. Not all vehicles, but Tesla is one of them that is included on.
great information. Hope you're listening, Marty. That was real good information for you. We are going to go back to the phones where Mary is waiting to be heard. And she's calling us from Pompano Beach. She has called before. Good morning, Mary.
Hi. I just want to say that you guys are great, and you're really a resource for all of us.
Thank you.
I'm asking this question because I live in a condo on the beach. We have parking, on the first few floors. It's covered parking in a cement building, but there's openings along the side. And I'm leaving for a few months, and I'm thinking of buying one of the Cami or the Easy Slide covers. But I have concerns that possibly moisture going under them might damage the surface of the car. Are these safe enough to leave on the cars for extended periods of time, especially
Great
with
question.
moisture?
Great question.
Yes, most of the new covers are designed to be breathable, to allow that moisture to escape from inside. So they're designed to accept that, and they'll have little vents here and there that let that moisture in the air circulate a little bit. So yes, they're pretty safe nowadays. Especially the good high quality ones. The manufacturers have really looked into that, and they're making sure they're doing a quality product anymore.
I'm glad you emphasized new. I just had a flashback nightmare many years ago when I was a Harley Davidson driver and going through my midlife crisis.
Oh boy.
And I lived, Nancy and I lived on the ocean in a condominium like you described. And I took my beautiful new Harley and I put it in the garage, and I wanted to protect that baby. I love that baby. And I covered it up, and I can't remember where we went. We might have gone on vacation. All I know is next time I looked at my Harley, it had rusted apart. So, it occurred to me, and Rick just hit it on the head, you've got to have ventilation, because whatever moisture and salt was in the air when I put that cover on, it was held there forever until I got back and found my ruined motorcycle.
Yeah, and no exaggeration on Earl's part. Let me tell you what, we did a lot of riding back in those days, and I had to call Harley Davidson to come pick up the motorcycle because it looked so bad. Let me tell you what, they almost arrested Earl and I for the condition that Harley was in. They said it was sinful. So things do rust.
Can I ask you, they have new ones that have a zipper opening on the side, which is great because if people want to start up the car or anything like that, they can get into the car without taking the cover off. But some of these covers are literally $65. So when you're talking about quality, you could go to Griot's Garage and pay $300. Do you guys have any suggestions on what is really quality? There's a big spectrum here.
Are there guarantees? When I haven't shopped for a cover, but I would look carefully to see what sort of guarantee. If they won't give you any guarantee whatsoever, I normally never recommend extended service contracts, but for something, if you live on the ocean and you want to protect your motorcycle or your car, I'd want to be sure that if I was gone for 4 months and I had rust, somebody be there to compensate me to fix my car back up, because you might not have the rust had you not put on the cover in the first place.
I would go with.
I don't know what. Go ahead.
I would go with the attitude of you get what you pay for, but check the reviews.
Yeah.
And look them up on Consumer Reports as well to see if you can find any listings in there.
Go on Amazon and use your Google reviews of 4 stars and up.
Yeah.
And don't read the good ones. Read the bad ones first.
Yes.
They put them at the bottom of the list.
That's great. That's great advice. But the thing is, you get a lot of people. I've already done that, and they say, "Well, what the hell for $65?" And so they're not really judging on quality. They're judging on, well, I could just throw it away when I get home. So they're not really. But I haven't seen anybody say anything that the car was damaged. But like I said, we get a mist on our car even in these garages.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
But being away is, puts a different spin on this situation. And, it's been a while since Rick has mentioned, make sure you have somebody, around that can start your car and take it for a drive. That's important. But also, Mary, $65, any amount as an investment to protect, a beautiful car.
yeah.
And also another place for you to go would be Consumer Report. I recall reading about their ratings on different covers. So that too is another place to go.
Did you? Oh, that's great. I actually I've been to the Colchester, Connecticut track. I'm a major donor to. There are many people who are more major than I am, but a major donor to Consumer Reports. And I have a
Fantastic.
lifetime subscription. And I'll look again, or actually I'll call Jennifer Stocker, who is actually in charge of that department for Consumer Reports.
Wow.
Because that's really something that people want, you know, to have a reliable cover. And a lot of these covers, especially in Florida, I did read in the Google reviews, people say, well, I'm out, I don't have a garage, and it lasts about a year, and like the aluminum, it's not aluminum, but the outside, the silver outside, it peels, but I don't care. Nobody seems to be really saying what they're doing it like with me, like 3 months, 4 months. Yeah, I'll call them because, you know, they do, believe it or not, take suggestions. Even if you call, everybody calls them to or send an email to them and ask certain questions because, you know, they have a publication that they've got to, you know, publish and they want to be relevant. So
Sure.
It's a good idea. I'll give them a call if I don't see it, and maybe they'll run an article.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks, Mary. Please give us a call back and let us know how that all turned out for you when you get back from up north. Rick?
Mary, one quick note. George Petrillo from our YouTube channel, he says the Evolution 3 and Evolution 4 car covers, he says they breathe well, they're very breathable inside, and most major auto parts stores sell them for around $100 to $120, and you can find them on Amazon with lots of options, and he said they are really good quality and get good reviews.
Well,
So that's one you may want to look into.
And Rick, what was the name of that cover?
Evolution 3 and Evolution 4.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
You're welcome,
Guys,
Mary.
terrific.
Give us a call back.
Bye.
Ladies, $50 for the next 2 lady callers. If you're the first-time caller, $50 this morning, 877-960-9960. Back to the recovering car dealer.
You know, I know I talk about electric vehicles too much, but Nancy and I are just nuts about our Tesla Plaid, and we just got a software update 2 days ago, and the autonomous driving is now evolved to a weird, it's like a robot. I mean, I often think of my car now as a human being because it is getting so good at autonomous driving. A little spooky this morning when we're leaving for the radio show. The new autonomous update won't let me wear my sunglasses. So Big Brother is watching you. If you got a privacy issue, you don't want to be driving a Tesla because they have cameras inside the cabin, 8 cameras outside the cabin. So Nancy's waving at me.
Yeah,
I guess.
Miss Nancy said that no brace on the wrist, whether you have carpal tunnel or not. It interferes in the
autonomous. Yeah. So what this has done now is actually it takes a certain mindset. I'm not suggesting that you use my type of mindset because I know I'm strange, but you have to be a little bit of a risk taker. Maybe I shouldn't be, but I am. And you have to let your autonomous car do some things, but not crazy things, but some things that you say, I wouldn't have done that. We all drive our cars differently. I mean, let's face it, whether you want to admit it or not, you think you're really a good driver. Everybody thinks they're really a good driver. And they think I'm a bad driver, and they think other people think you're a bad driver. So we all have this thing about we know how to drive better than anything, including our autonomous car. So I have to let my ego drop. And when our autonomous Tesla does something like changes lanes, I always ask, why did we just change lanes? We named her Miss Nancy, so I say to Nancy, why did Miss Nancy change lanes? And we talk. We have a conversation about it. She's driving. She'll say, why did the other day we left the house and it was going very, very slow. And we said, why is the car going so slow? Usually, and this was after the software update, so you get questions and answers, or you don't get answers, and this is, if you're starting to understand now why you might not be ready for autonomy, because
Yes, there's a lot of talking.
you don't want to have this conversation.
A
You
lot
just
of
want to go to the
communication.
store. You want to go to the pharmacy. You want to go to Publix. But I'm telling you right now, folks, I say this with all sincerity. When I get into that car now and I have to go somewhere, that Tesla, on its current degree of autonomy, will get me there safer, faster than I can, or Nancy can, or anybody that I know can. And I'm just telling you, that's the way it is, folks. And they're not perfect. And if somebody's going to call in or somebody's going to send a text saying, well, there was 5 people killed in an autonomous car. I know it. There was 10 people killed in a regular car. I mean, there's going to be deaths in autonomous cars, but there are fewer deaths. So I know it's hard to wrap your head around that. You don't want any deaths, but I'm telling you, folks, autonomy is here. And but you don't buy an autonomous car and turn it autonomous unless you're prepared to be a free spirit and let yourself go. Everybody can't do that, but it's fun. I love it. Okay.
I have a lot to add to that, but we don't have time.
Oh, sure we do.
Okay, 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Ladies, again, $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. Give us a call. We're waiting to hear from you. What I was going to say about the autonomous was, I have not come to terms yet with the fact that everyone around us that is in a vehicle, combustion vehicle, they're not ready for autonomous.
You mean non-autonomous,
So
yeah.
those are the people that I'm concerned about.
Yeah, no, that's true. But let me add this: that the way I drive myself, I'm more obnoxious to those around me than my Tesla is. The Tesla, for example, will travel closer. I tend to lay back. People hate me because I lay back. You probably have people ahead of you that do that. You go up to the stoplight and they start slowing down way before the stoplight, and you want to zoom and get in front of them. And so the Tesla doesn't do that. It stays up close. It does a lot of things that I don't do, but at the end of the trip, I say, boy, that was really a good ride. So,
Yeah.
As I say, word of caution, try it before you buy it. That's a simple way
and
to do it.
that was troubling this morning whenever you figured out that it was the sunglasses. So there's a short list that we have now because not only Earl's sunglasses, but when I'm driving, I just didn't know what was going on whenever autonomous was deactivated. Well, lo and behold, it was my brace for my carpal tunnel,
Yeah.
and Rick and I were talking about that, and he was talking about what was, the brace was
The
made out
steering
of.
has to feel your
how to-
hand. It can't feel something.
There had to
but
be the skin to yoke
Yeah.
kind of,
Tesla wants to defeat the possibility that some jerk is going to put a pair of fake hands on the car and go to sleep on the back seat and kill somebody. So it's watching you at all times, and it's not going to let you get away with it. So I don't like the sunglasses thing. I like to wear my sunglasses, but now I'm thinking about it. I realize I got tinted glass. I don't need the sunglasses. So, a lot of this is psychological.
well, with those blue eyes, all the protection you can get.
That's true. My baby blues.
Yes, yeah. They're a plus and a minus. Okay, we are going to go back to the phones. We're going to talk to Lane, and Lane is calling us from Fort Myers. Good morning, Lane.
Good morning. I had called before. I had been talking about trying to get my hands on a 4Runner and trying to sell my little Chevy, and I just wanted to give you an update. And I thought you would find this funny because I had talked before about the one dealership, Toyota dealership around me I've been going to has a TRD Pro, the 4Runner TRD Pro. And listen to these figures. I'm not sure if I told you before. It has an MSRP of $57,614, has installed equipment for basically $1,000 of window tint, wheel locks, and all weather mats.
Yeah.
Appearance protection for 3 years for $700. dent protection for 3 years for $700.
Wow.
and a market adjustment of $15,000 for a total price before everything else of $75,007. And I think, I'm not sure if I told you, but I was talking to one salesman yesterday and said, who in their right mind is going to buy this thing?
Yeah, well,
And
Lane, I tell you what, the irony is, his dealer, Lane doesn't, the salesman doesn't know anything about this, but the guy that owns that dealership, and sometimes nobody knows who owns the dealership, it's a secret, but he knows now because a registered agent got a letter, and I'm holding that letter in my hand because I'm the registered agent for my dealership. And they are going to begin enforcing the Florida law that's been there for 20 years, and everything you just named is a violation of the law. And every violation is finable by $10,000. Now, you're one guy looking at one vehicle, and I think you rattle off 4 or 5 violations. So on September 1st, that dealer could be fined $40,000 or $50,000, and his license could be revoked, basically put out of business. The Department of Motor Vehicles, if you violate, and they so deem the fact you have violated this law that's been on the book for for 20 years, they can take away your license. You're out of business. You got your life tied up in your dealership. I shudder when I say this because, our dealership, that's everything. That's us. That's what we do. We're car dealers. Everything I own, everything I have, that's my car dealership. If I break the law now on September 1st, they can take away my license. That means I can't sell Toyotas anymore. I can't sell used cars anymore.
Well,
Now that's a registered letter. So exciting, and when you get these experience like that, Lane, and somebody called in earlier and says, "Do you think it's really going to happen?" Well, you know the story. You know the answer to that. I sure hope it happens. And now by talking about it, and you talking about it, and everybody talking about it, they kind of stuck their neck out. They say, we're going to do it on September 1st. So I'm not going to let them forget about that. And on September 1st, I'm going to be hammering them.
And Lane, let me ask you this question. Did you total that out the door price when
No, I didn't do an OTD because the salesman I was talking to wasn't my salesman when I was out in the yard looking at it, because my salesman, who I was supposed to have an appointment with, was talking to somebody else. So I started to ask him questions, and he said to me he could not talk to me because he wasn't my salesman. And I said, okay, I'll just wander the yard and look around. Yeah. And the car also did not have a Moroni label on it.
Oh boy!
So I was looking at it, saying, where's the Moroni label?
And what was this? Did you say it was a 4Runner?
Yes, it was it's the top of the line one, the one you can climb mountains with, the TRD Pro. One there. And oddly enough, it's not the one I'm interested in. I'm interested in a limiter or another one of the models. But as I had talked to you before, I'm still in the process of trying to sell my one car, which also has turned out to be almost a mountain too high to climb. But this I just thought was so funny. No one would talk to me, and it had that Moroni, had that additional thing. I took a photo of it, but I'm in the photo, so it's no good. But I just thought it was so funny, and I'm going to keep on searching, and I just want to relate this back to you all.
We're real happy you did.
Yeah, what you could do is, and anybody listening out there, before it was whistling in the wind, but Ashley Moody signed this letter, and this is going to be in the hands of every owner of every car dealership in Florida. So I'd start papering the file with letters, emails, text, anything I can in writing to Ashley Moody, Office of the Attorney General, and list of the offenses. And you keep adding to the offenses here. This dealership is probably MSR, Moroni labeled, not there. He's probably looking at close to $100,000 in fines, and that's if he's lucky, on September 1st, 2024. Now, if he's not lucky, and I just don't see this happening, but it could happen. If I'm a dealer, if it could happen, it'd get my attention. They take away his license to sell new and used cars. So, huge. This is huge.
Yeah, I can't emphasize that enough, Lane. When Earl and I sat down and read this letter that went out to all these car dealers, I mean, we're keeping our fingers crossed. This thing has legs, and it is really going to put a lot of these car dealers under the bus. And you just proved that, by mentioning all of these fees. You're talking market adjustment, 15.
No, 15. It was one of several vehicles that had market adjustments on it. Some of them, the littler cars, had $7,000 market adjustments on them.
Yeah.
And I was looking and I just laughed and I said to the salesman who couldn't talk to me, I said, "Oh, well, if he ever wants to sell it at MSRP or lower, let me know." And I looked at it.
I like that.
And then just took off.
These guys are the pawns. They're out trying to make a buck, trying to make a living, just like you and me. And it's a shame that they get into this. A lot of people don't even realize how bad it is. It's the guy in the ivory tower whose name you probably don't know that's guilty. And so we'll see how there'll be a real shakeup. Actually, for salespeople, I don't know about you, but if I were starting all over again and I wanted to sell something, I'd like to sell something legally. I'd like to sell something I could sleep at night by selling. So if all car dealers suddenly became honest, which, that ain't going to happen.com, but if they did, how wonderful, how many more jobs it would provide for people. Car dealers employ, whether you like them, hate them, or love them, or whatever you feel about car dealers, they employ a huge number of people. And to have an honest dealership suddenly occur, boy, what a great thing for the population of Florida.
Just with a few of the junk fees that you mentioned, I just jotted some numbers down. I think you were talking like $30,000. That's pretty crazy. Can I ask you an important question before we go on?
Certainly.
Would you be at liberty to share with us the name of the dealership?
Could I do it offline?
Okay, I got a little
understand.
hesitation in your voice when you first started talking about this.
Whenever you see
You can text me,
like this,
Lane,
Okay, what is your text number?
561-386-6498.
We went 561
386 6498.
6498. Okay. I will text you the name of the dealer, but I just want to, I have no problems with a dealer making a profit.
We'll keep you anonymous, I promise.
Yeah. I want them to stay in business, but I want them to also be reasonable with the consumer.
Okay.
And I'll keep.
I asked that question to, for our audience because there's a good possibility that Agent Lightning, could, help us out also. So we're all in this together. But I appreciate the fact that you may be going back into the dealership. Who knows? You might get a heck of a deal. You want to remain anonymous.
Well, thank you very much, and I'll keep you all advised what happens on my
Thank you,
quest to
Lane.
sell a car and buy a car.
There you go. 877-960-9960. Or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Ladies, I'm waiting for you to give us a call. First two new lady callers, you can win yourself $50 this morning. Now back to Rick.
Oh, we've got George Petrillo's asking, "Hey Earl, could you possibly post on your website a sample dealer purchase agreement sheet that the salesman fill out when a car purchase is done? Just something without a dealer name, but make it printable to where they could have it as a sample."
That's a great idea. They call that the worksheet, and my son Stu handles that sort of thing, and I'll make a note to see that is added to earloncars.com. The worksheet that he refers to is premeditated by car dealers because there's no legal obligation. And if you read every dealer has this preliminary sheet. Typically, if you buy something and you go into a retail store and there's going to be a buyer's order. There is going to be a contract. You sign the contract and you go home and you take your product. But with car dealers, you don't sign any contracts because they don't know what they can get you to sign. So they have something called a worksheet. They're going to work on you. They're going to work you real hard on that worksheet. And down at the bottom of the worksheet, you can't make this stuff up, folks. I mean, every dealer does this. I'm talking about not just in Florida, but everywhere. And it's the advice of the dealer associations. And in the fine print, it says, this is not a legal document. This is nothing is signed. Nothing has legal binding unless signed by an officer of the company. If you have this is all fine print. If you have a complaint, if something is out of order here, then you may not sue this dealer. You must file an arbitration with the American Arbitration Association. Now, for those of you, I'm the only car dealer that I know of. Our dealership is the only one that I know. And if somebody out there can catch me on this, call me and tell me. We don't have an arbitration agreement. We don't want an arbitration agreement. If you want to sue me, I want you to have the right to sue me. You're entitled by your rights as an American to a trial by jury. So you want to sue me? Sue me. I'll do my best because I think I'm honest. But the car dealers don't want to be sued, so they go to the American Alliance for Arbitration. And this is a business organization, and the people that pay them are the businesses. So now, if I'm the guy paying the Arbitration Association, and you're the guy coming to get me, who do you think they're going to favor, me or them? If they really get me angry, I'm going to drop them. I'm not going to pay them anymore. I say, what good is me paying you for this arbitration thing if you're going to have that agreement broken and I get sued? So that's the worksheet, and I will take your advice. We'll put the worksheet up there. We'll blow the fine print up so you can see what you're authorizing, and you really don't get to the really nasty stuff, the really binding stuff, until you get into the box, which is the finance department. They call it the business office. It's not a business office. We have a business office. Car dealers have a business office. That's not it. This is the finance office, and we have highly paid commissions in our finance offices to sell you everything but the kitchen sink, everything you don't need. And in the process of signing all these things, you sign the legal documents. The worksheet means nothing.
Well, he follows up by saying, it's incredible all the fees that they try to push. I've been visiting Dodge dealerships from South Florida all the way up to Tampa, and the markups and dealer fees are laughable. Now, that's the reason that Earl calls South Florida the Wild, Wild West.
That's Sodom and Gomorrah.
Sodom and Gomorrah, yeah.
There'll come a day when we don't say that. It's going to happen. I promise everyone. Here's an interesting article, and it's one of the professional basketball players is Angel Reese, and she plays for the LSU Tigers. And guess what she found out front of her home? Do you recall this article? A Mercedes-Benz with a big red bow on it. Do you recall the article that we were talking about, and how, there was a time when it was called, payola, or it was something scandalous that they were paying off the NFL, the basketball, everybody. And now it's commonplace. Yeah. And the article appeared in the New York Times sports section. Yeah. So they're paying a lot of these professional basketball players, football.
Well, how about our college kids? Our college kids are getting paid to endorse now. I mean, used to be college sports was pure and clean, and now it's just about like any other sport.
Well, women like Angel Reese has really put them on the map, and Caleb, and to name a few, and they are college basketball players with high performance. Okay. Do we have anything from Facebook, any YouTube, any anonymous feedback?
George goes on to say, he says, what do you think of the deep discounts Dodge is doing to push out their 23 overstocks, 2023s. He says he's looking to pull the trigger on either a 23 Challenger RT or a Charger RT.
Well, I can tell you this: there is, if you're ready to negotiate and you want to do your homework, you want to use Costco, you want to use Consumer Report, you want to listen to the advice on this show, and you want to stay online because you don't want to be physically attacked. Everything online. Now is a great place to do battle with. I was going to say Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge. It's now Stellantis. But the Stellantis dealers, I think of them as Jeep dealers because that's what keeps them alive. The Jeep dealers are in trouble, and they're rising up against Stellantis. They're going against their manufacturer. It's a war between the Chrysler job. I would love to say Stellantis, except half the world doesn't know what Stellantis is anymore. But Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep. I mean, they got so many different lines,
Fiat.
even Fiats. But the fact of the matter, probably one of the reasons why they're doing so bad is they don't know what their name is, and but they're trying to. They have a record number of cars in stock. So back to our caller, our texter. It is a good time if you're ready for battle to really just beat the hell out of a Stellantis dealer. They're begging for help. Their cars are overpriced, but they admit it. And they have a huge inventory, and interest rates are off the chart. So they have more Jeeps in stock. They're having to rent parking lots to store their Jeeps. So Jeep is just a hot car. I mean, Nancy and I love Jeeps. Every time we drive by and see a really sexy looking Jeep, we say, hey, boy, that's really a cool looking vehicle. So we're not immune to what Jeeps are.
And the reason we haven't purchased one is because we've canceled the trip to the Grand Canyon.
That's true, yeah. There we go. Anyway, go out there and do your homework and look at the day's supply, and you can just have a lot of fun online. Find a dealer that's got so many cars in stock, he's getting ready to hang himself because he's paying the manufacturer 12 or 14% interest to keep those cars in stock, and he's hanging on by a thread. They're going after Stellantis, saying, "Help us! You need to lower prices. We need more incentives. Quit shoving these cars down our throats." So, if you're strong and you're informed, or you use a good car buying program like Costco, or you want to use TrueCar or Consumer Reports, and you're an informed consumer, you can get a hell of a deal on a Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or any Stellantis product today.
Ernest Ortega says, if you get financing through the dealership and pay off the loan in less than 30 days, does the financial institution not give the dealership a kickback?
Usually that's true. The thing you have to be careful of when you finance a car and pay it off soon is what will they allow you to pay off. Now, that's it varies from lender to lender, but typically there is a time limit before you can pay the whole loan off, and that means they get you for a big slug of interest, even though you only keep the loan for a short period of time. So you might cancel the contract in weeks, but you might be charged for a year interest. So there's a minimum charge that car dealers, before they go through the expense, their rationale, before I got all this expense to investigate your credit and get you all set up at the computer and get your monthly payment going, I'm doing all this work, and I don't want you to borrow the money today and pay it off tomorrow because you cost me money. And here's what is in the fine print, so I'll assure you that you won't. So if you're, just be careful. I hear that from a lot of people. I'm just going to go ahead and get my big fat incentive because I'm going to finance it, and then I'll pay it off early. Be careful. Read the fine print in the installment sales contract.
As a matter of fact, Donovan says at Ernesto Ortega, he says, it's usually 90 days, And if you pay it off within that, the bank will charge the dealer a fee. He says he forgets the name of it. And he says if the bank says no prepayment penalty, then you're good to pay it with even 1 day later.
My man Donovan.
He is on the ball.
I'm telling you, he's amazing.
He is our fourth member or fifth member of the group that he should have a chair here with his name on it for
Well,
this show. I'll tell you.
I'll make it easy on you, Donovan. You don't have to have a chair here. You can join us once we fine-tune the construction of Zoom.
Yeah.
You could start at, well, I'm not sure if you'll have enough time, 8:06. Yep, right here with us. We'll be watching you. You can be sharing all of this, well, great information that nobody else has. Okay.
Silence on the air is very scary.
Are we?
I think it has a place.
Oh, okay. We'll have a
I'll
moment
show
of
you.
silence.
877-960-9960. Please, ladies, excuse me, give me a call. $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. Okay, boys, what you got for me?
Well, I'm just going to pick up the automotive news here because they're still talking about this is a dealer problem. So it doesn't get me all. I got lucky, by the way. Our dealership did not get cyber hacked, but this it's almost deserving of what's going on with this DMS CDK and the cyber hack. Affected virtually every car dealership in the country. And we got lucky. We didn't have that dealer management system, that computer system, and we were not hurt. By the way, Stellantis was hurt big time. That's one of the reasons they're having problems now. And big earnings hit by most all of the car dealers out there. Now it's turned into infighting. So CDK, everybody's suing CDK because they say they caused it. CDK paid the ransom money, 10 or 20 million. We don't know exactly how much to see these terrible people somewhere and God knows where, and they don't know where they are. I mean, if you follow these cyber hackers, they're strange people. They're like all they know is cyber hacking. I don't even think they have any education. They're extremely smart people. But they majored in hacking, and they're in Nigeria, they're in Siberia, I don't know where they are. And they can sit at a computer anywhere in the world and hack. Well, they just got AT&T.
Yep.
So I'm laughing at them. They're probably going to come and get our dealership. You want to talk about another problem? We got enough problems with what we talk about on car dealerships. Well, once we fix this, maybe we'll go after cyber hackers. Because,
there you go.
I mean, that could cripple the world, right?
Yeah.
Cyber hackers. Anyway, the dealers are suing their customers. The customers are suing the dealers.
Everybody's suing
CDK
everybody.
is, and the only people getting fat and happy are the lawyers. And there's only one group of people. Well, I won't say. There's 3 groups of people that I got problems with: lawyers. What was I say? Lawyers. The car dealers.
The hackers.
And hackers.
The hackers.
Somebody does. I got it.
Hey,
I love dogs, but I love dogs.
I have a short list. That list is for all of you out there, the consumer. That's who we're here for, and there's no in between. No in between, man. So, we have no phone calls. So, what does anybody have your anonymous feedback? Anybody have a YouTube?
We do have one other in the text messages. Jonathan from Palm Coast says, Earl, if you don't recommend the extended warranty, why do they push it so hard in the finance office?
Oh, let me answer that. No, go ahead.
Well, I feel defensive when I have to answer
No,
questions like that. Truthfully, I sell finance contracts because it's profitable, and I make money, and I'm a capitalist, and I'm a car dealer. I try to do it with total honesty and integrity and disclosure. I personally don't like extended service contracts. I don't. When I buy a product or Nancy buys a product, they always offer you an extended service contract, but we don't buy them unless it's something that we feel should we need it and can't afford to buy the repair, then we'll buy it. But you know, if I buy something that I can afford to take care of, Nancy and I feel if our house burns down, that would be a financial burden on us. So we have fire insurance. But if my my new iPhone breaks, I can buy another iPhone. It'll cost me what? How much an iPhone cost? $200, $300. I can.
New?
1,000.
Okay,
New?
1,000. That shows you how long since I bought one.
Can I say new?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I can afford $1,000, but I can't. But I'm not going to tell you how much my house costs, but it's a lot of money, and it would bring tears to my eyes to have to build another house. So it's kind of like what you have, what you feel good about.
Hey, I won't be
And
part
I
of
know
that
this without a
construction.
doubt. Over the long haul of my life, with collision deductible, with extended service contract, over all the things I purchased in my life, I buy very little extended warranties. I am way ahead of the game. I have more money in the bank than had I by buying extended warranties. So back to the question. Everybody
But
forgot the
first
question.
you
The
have to
caller
mention
wanted to know,
Warren
why do
Buffett.
I sell extended warranties? Because my customers want to buy them. And if I say on this radio show every week, I wouldn't buy one, but that's me. If you feel better about buying an extended warranty, and it covers what it says it's going to cover, and there's no surprises, and the price is fair, then buy it. But I think that you could do better by, if that warranty cost you $1,000, I'd rather bank that $1,000, put it in the stock market, get 10% annual return on my investment, which is historically what the stock market has paid for 1,000,000 years, slight exaggeration, and you always come out ahead of the game, and you don't need the extended service contract.
Great
Long answer to a simple question. I'm sorry.
Okay. Here, do you-
And that's, let's see, yeah, that's got me caught up for right now.
Okay. I think that it is time for us to go to Dutch. You're wondering who Dutch is? He's our dog of the week.
Dog of the week.
And he's a Dutch pup. Dutch a pup. Has boundless energy, and he has a heart filled with love. Do we need to say any more? Take a look at this video of Dutch.
Hi, my name is Joshua from Big Dog Rescue Ranch. This is Dutch. He's a Belgian Malinois mixed with Shepherd. He's very smart, very loving. He's got a lot of energy. He's ready to go home. Great on the leash.
I hear the dog is in the background.
Sit. Good boy. Dutch, lay down.
Are you okay?
Lay down. Good boy.
Oh, Dutch is out of control.
Oh boy. I'm gonna come down there and get you, Dutch. You behave yourself.
For those of you that can't see,
Yes, Rick.
Dutch is this beautiful, brindle-colored, like a Malinois mix. And he's a Malinois
Very
Shepherd
sweet dog.
mix,
Very
and
loving.
he's gorgeous.
He's ready for a home.
Walking so well on the leash.
We are
Obeys commands,
big
sit
supporters
and
of Big Dog
down.
Ranch Rescue, and they are the largest no-kill shelter
He
in
is
the United
awesome.
States. They take in hundreds, thousands of dogs, and they keep them until they find a loving home.
When you adopt our sponsored dog through us, we take care of the adoption fees. There's a lot of expenses that goes into getting the dogs ready for adopting and housing them, some indefinitely. And you get charged just a few $100s based on the breed, the age of the dog, and how long they've been at the ranch. But we take care of that for you. And you get a dog that's ready to go with all its shots, neutered, spayed, bathed, cleaned. And we highlight these dogs, but we
He looks like he weighs about 40, 45 pounds, maybe 50. He is incredibly intelligent and attentive to the fella handling with him. Extremely good on the leash. I'm impressed by how well he is on the leash there.
Oh, that was amazing,
So,
wasn't it?
folks, if you're looking for a dog that will do really well on the leash, now bear in mind Malinois, Shepherds mix like that, they're going to require exercise. So be ready, be aware of that one. But go out and talk to them, and if you're the right fit for Dutch, hey, Earl Stewart's going to cover the adoption fees for Dutch. He is looking for a forever home.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to last too long. He'll be adopted quickly.
He will.
Dutch is only 4 years old, and he is energetic. But if and when you see the video, you can see how well trained he is. So he's not going to be jumping all over you and doing things that puppies do. So if you want to go to Big Dog Ranch Rescue, you can go to www.bdrr.org. And you can go there. You can fill out an application if you'd like to do that before you get out there. They do a background check, and you can fill that out, and you can have it all ready or send it in prior to you arriving out at the Big Dog Ranch. And I have to mention Earl's book. His book, Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer. Well, all proceeds go to Big Dog Ranch. All proceeds go to Big Dog Ranch when you purchase Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer. You can go to Earl on Cars. You can go to Amazon.
Yeah, go to Amazon.
Purchase the book.
Amazon.com is the best place to buy
Yeah.
it.
So go ahead out there and take a look at Dutch. And boy, I'll tell you what, they have some beautiful dogs out there right now. It's an amazing place and an adventure. And you can, with all the heat, you can still go out there and you can spend a whole lot of time in the air conditioning. And you can, as a sidebar here, I'm going back out because I want to take a look at Puppyville.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's not making that up, folks. There is literally, I mean, I want you to envision a beautiful green area with cute little cottages, multicolored cottages, just beautiful. You'd love to live in one of these yourselves, and that's where the puppies are. And then that's next to the maternity row. I'm not making this stuff up. And that's where pregnant dogs go, and they have their babies, and the puppies are moved into Puppyville. And they're just, this place is, if I were a dog, I'd never leave there. I think one of the problems with Big Dog Ranch Rescue, it's too nice. And the dogs get out there, hey, the hell with a foster home. I'm staying here at the Ritz-Carlton. I'm gonna growl. You bring me a foster, I'm only kidding. I mean,
it's an amazing place.
Yeah.
Folks, let's remember one thing. Dogs are all about love, and when you find the right dog for you, it doesn't matter if you live in a cardboard box or a mansion. That dog's gonna love you forever. That's all that matters.
Can I
Yeah.
tell one of my really bad male chauvinist jokes? You got to remember, because I'm an old guy, a lot of my jokes go back to the days of discrimination. So here's an old joke, and I admit I'm a pig in a lot of ways. So, but this makes me laugh.
That's
So,
another show.
for all you pigs out there,
We don't have time for that.
Here's my old joke, and I apologize to the pigs I've already told the old joke to. Okay, do you know how to tell who loves you more, your wife or your dog?
How?
Well,
Please, Rick.
You lock your wife in the car
I'm
trunk
begging you.
and let her out, and you lock your dog in the car trunk and see who likes you when they get out of the trunk.
Okay, Jonathan, are you going to be muting?
I'm not going there.
Silence on the set here. Jonathan, will you be muting my microphone? I recommend that you do. Okay, folks, that's enough fun for us. We are going to be going to the Mystery Shopping Report. It is it's been done down in Coconut Creek. Hang on to your hats. Lou Banquerot, Chevrolet. If you want to vote, and I know you will, you can do so at 772-497-6530. Hey, before you do the Mystery Shopping Report, I have to share this real quick, okay? We have in the Palm Beach Post, Honolulu tops list for the safest drivers in the U.S., and here's what the report finds. Number 1, hard brake the least, Honolulu. Drive at high speed, the least, Honolulu. Handle their phones the least,
This is in the whole United States?
San Jose, California.
Yeah.
Here are the riskiest drivers. Number 1, Port St. Lucie. Port St. Lucie.
Yeah, for you folks out there, Port St.
Drive
Lucie,
at high speed.
for your folks out of the area of Port St. Lucie, is a little bitty community to the north of North Palm Beach. And nobody's heard of it unless you're in this area. And it's supposed to be a little rural, happy town, but the drivers there are apparently all maniacs.
There
Now,
you
we
go.
have a small, Port St. Lucie is full of driving maniacs, according to the survey.
Not. I don't think they called them maniacs, but
No, I did.
it was close. But you were asking about the phones, whether handling or not handling.
Mm-hmm.
You know who handles their phones the most? Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Okay, mystery shopping report.
Okay, one more quickie for you to the Mystery Shopping Report. I forgot to tell you about this. You know, one of my favorite targets on this show is Napleton, probably one of the most corrupt car dealers anywhere. And every time we shop him, it's just ludicrous. He's got dozens and dozens of dealerships. They just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But one of the interesting things about Napleton, I mean, in a way, you have to admire the devil by the way he goes about it. I mean, if someone's a really bad guy and they just never get in until they're gone, I mean, you got to give them a pat on the back for persistence. Here's what Napleton done. Hyundai has been trying to get rid of Napleton because Hyundai's got a bunch of Napleton dealerships, or I should say Napleton's got a bunch of Hyundai dealerships, and he's all over the country. He's got quite a few in Florida. So Hyundai's trying to get the dealerships back from Napleton, but with the state laws lobbied in by the money grubbing attorney generals that are protecting the dealers, you can't get rid of a car dealer. A car dealer's got to be a murderer and then some to get rid of them today because the laws aren't enforced. That's another story. So Napleton sues Hyundai all the time. No, another lawsuit. So now Napleton's suing Hyundai because they've been forcing him to falsely report electric vehicle sales. Now, if you know Napleton, he falsely reports everything. I mean, so nobody's forcing him to falsely report. That's what he does. So it just, to me, is a little bit of humor. He'll probably sue me now, but it's not going to do him any good to sue me. He's going to sue Hyundai to stall Hyundai off on getting rid of him. And that's my little nugget of the day. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to go to the mystery shopping report.
Lou Baccarat.
Here you go.
Lou Baccarat Chevrolet in Coconut Creek. They're in Pompano, Fort Lauderdale, I think. Speaking in the first person, I've got a little story I might tell you if I have time after this shopping report, because Lou Baccarat and I go way back. Okay, mystery shopping report. Speaking in the first person as if I were Agent Lightning. I arrived just before lunch. As I was walking up the front steps, the salesman was smiling at me, then overextending his hand for a handshake. He introduced himself as Matt and asked if I had an appointment with anyone today. Matt said he was happy to help me out and suggested that we go over to his desk. He asked, "What do you have in mind to accomplish today?" I said, "I'm looking for a truck to haul a fifth-wheel camper, and I saw some great deals on the website." And, again, speaking as myself here, we try to get advertisements that sound too good to be true. That's a good way to get a juicy mystery shopping report, because anything that a car dealer advertises today, you can count on one thing: it ain't true. I mean, the car dealership ads are all fictitious. Matt asked, "What features are most important to you?" I said, "Adaptive cruise control and leather seats." And then I showed him the truck advertised online, a new 2024 Chevrolet Silverado, Silverado 1500 RST, with an MSRP of $59,925. Monroney label, MSRP, $59,925. Lou Baccarat was offering it for sale for $47,937. Whoa! too early to say woo, but I always say woo at this stage of the report. $12,000 off MSRP. Matt confirmed it was in stock and available for sale. He suggested we go take a look and get the keys. Matt offered me for me to sit in the air conditioning for a while. And if you're not from this area, of course, I guess anywhere in the world now, it's hot everywhere. So it's really hot here in South Florida. So that was a smart move. Sit in the AC while he pulled the car around up front. About 2 minutes later, Beck was back already. Mentioned for me to come and see my new truck. She's a beauty. We went outside. There she was. Matt used the auto start feature. They all do that now. And they're fun. I like the auto start feature to start it. And then he showed me all the features he had to offer. He pointed out that it has a hitch already, and also the adaptive cruise control already on the car. That's almost everything I wanted in the truck. Matt then pulled up the big screen and went through the investigation. I'm sorry. He went through the navigation, adding Google Play, Apple CarPlay, etc. He also mentioned that there's a lift kit and a bed liner in the truck bed, which they don't all have. Okay, reaffirmed that lift kit was not in all trucks, but it was in this one. Now, the addendum label, the infamous addendum label, next to the properly placed Monroney label. Now, I underline this for the simple reason this is in Pompano Beach, Florida, which is in South Florida, which is Sodom and Gomorrah, which is the worst place you can buy a car. And the Monroney labels, to find a Monroney label on the window where the manufacturer and the federal law says it should be, is almost never happens. So I underline it. So Lou Baccarat, pat on the back to Lou Baccarat, actually not tearing the Monroney label off and hiding it somewhere. And it listed the typical appearance package kit for about $4,000 and $14,000 for the lift kit, which is supposed to be included. Lou Baccarat's price on the addendum was $78,000. Boom! 064. Now, he did say the price was what he said the price was. So the addendum is a shocker. Now, here's another reason for the addendum. The addendum is there for the people that are not sophisticated enough and not educated enough and careful to find out what the advertised price are, what the fine print is, and to have that discussion with the salesman. There are those people, believe it or not, who just wander innocently into a car dealership and says, I'll take that one over there. Now, when you do that, hey, what can I tell you? You're gonna get hosed big time. But that's the reason the addendum there, because if you said that, I promise you that the salesperson is going to say, no, you can't pay that. He gets paid 25% of whatever he sells the car for. So if he can get another $14,000 on addendums and junk fees and the rest of it, he's not going to volunteer that information. You're going to pay. So always question the price. I said I really like it. I suggested we go for a test drive. I acted a little nervous and said, I think I'll leave that up to my husband. And I really just wanted to come in and take your best price, get your best price, and see if the online prices were too good to be true, like my hubby always says they are. Smart hubby. Matt assured me that they honor their online prices and that he would work to get me the best deal he could. Okay, we'll see. How soon are you looking to make a purchase, Matt said. I replied, if the price is right, possibly today. Now, if you want to get a price, you better say yes today. I mean, if you go into a car dealership and you say you're not ready to give them to buy, you're not going to get the real price. You're going to get a promise that the price will be lower than anybody else, but you won't get a price. You won't get you will not get a firm price if you don't tell them you're going to drive that car home today. Okay, we headed back inside. Matt collected some info from me before excusing himself to talk to his sales manager. He returned a few minutes later and apologized for taking so long. Matt said, I think you're going to be very happy, and laid down a worksheet. We talked about the worksheet earlier. That's the arbitration agreement, the no legal obligation, this worksheet can go up and down and sideways and means nothing. That's the piece of paper that you're working with. So he had that there, and we're going to put one on our website because earloncars.com, because a very, very smart caller said, why don't you do that? And we should have done it, but I'm going to ask my son Stu to do that. So we'll have it up by next week. Okay, the top line was thankfully MSRP, $59,925. There was a $12,000 discount. Whoop, good discount. Making my adjusted price $47,937. They added and inflated, here we go, the additions, $699 in DMV, that's Department of Motor Vehicle Fields. Now that's inflated because we know the tax and the tag aren't that much, so that's inflated. We don't know by how much. I'd say probably a couple $100. And here's a doozy, $1,693 junk fee they called a processing dock fee. Oh man, that's a doozy, isn't it? $1,693 processing dock fee. Matt explained the big discount came courtesy of some very aggressive factory incentives. I noticed that the total out-the-door price was less than MSRP. There you have it, folks. A year ago, that out-the-door price would have been way over MSRP. Good times are coming back slowly, too slowly, but they are coming back. So here we actually have a price below MSRP in spite of the junk fees and the processing fees and the rest of it. And what part of that is due to aggressive factory incentives. So you will see that too, but it's all money, right? And be very careful when you buy a car today, because you might not know about the factory incentives. And when you get into the box, the finance department, and they start throwing these papers at you in a white blur, and they got the pen in your hand and they're rubbing your fingers over the paper, you're signing stuff you don't even know what you're signing. And one of the things you might be signing is you assign all factory incentives to the dealer. Now that could be a customer incentive, and you might have a couple $1,000s that they advertise they're going to give you if you buy this car. But if you don't know about it, you ain't going to get it. You're going to assign it to the dealer, and you'll never know you did it. And you'll put it in his pocket. That's profit. And that's what happens in the box. I noticed that the total out-the-door price was less than MSRP. I also noticed, and that's good news, that the worksheet did not reflect the inclusion of lift kit. Now, I find it hard to believe after he affirmed that multiple times in writing, they would dare to try to slip that little lift kit back in on top of that price that they just gave you. I don't think they would, but I don't know. I thanked him for his time, Matt, that is, so I'd be in touch after I talked with my husband. Matt asked me to please give him a moment. Just a moment. Got to get Kenny. Got to get my sales manager. Same old, the name of the game. A few minutes later, we returned with Kenny. Matt introduced him, and Kenny explained that it's a great deal on this truck, on his truck. They always call it their truck. And usually you only get special financing or dealer discounts, but he could probably work something out. Probably get both if I decide to buy today. He went on to say that GMC offers annual percentage rate incentives or dealer discounts, but not both. They're virtually always excluded, one or the other, so that's an accurate disclosure. I won't get off into that, but you basically will use the APR if you're going to finance for a long time, which most people do, unfortunately. And your cash incentives are usually less because of the high interest rates if you're going to finance through the dealer, which you shouldn't, but if you have to. I then asked, does the truck come as it sits right now with the lift kit at that price you showed me? They both assured me it does. So it did, it didn't, it did, it didn't, and the last, I walked out the door, it is included. Small bucks anyway. I thanked them, said I'd be in touch. Right. Okay. South Florida, Pompano Beach, Florida, a shopping report, which is a special category of car dealers, as I've said many, many times. So we grade on the curve. That means C. The average dealer down here is pretty bad, so the average dealer down here gets a C. If we didn't have a passing grade there'd be no place to buy a car in South Florida if you looked at our list of recommended car dealers, and that's on EarlandCars.com. So go www.EarlandCars.com, recommended dealer list, and you have a dealer do not buy list. Don't touch those with a 10-foot pole. Those are dealers that are terrible, and they will lie and cheat and steal and break the law. But if they're on the recommended list, they're still gonna, be pretty fluffy with you, but you got to be careful. So take the dealers with the higher scores. So you'll call in the show and you'll give, please don't give an A unless this dealer can walk on water, and there aren't any dealers that can walk on water. So if it's an average dealer for South Florida, give them a C. If they're really bad, I'm not going to tell you can't give an F. If you want to fluck a dealer, fluck a dealer. But remember, we say to them, you will never sell a dealer car in South Florida if we have our way. And we put them on the do not buy list. That's pretty severe. And if we say A, we don't like to say that either, because I don't know a dealer here in South Florida that I could say that you could just walk in and buy a car and forget about it. I mean, there aren't any. So C is average. You can text us, your number at 772-497-6530, and we will get to your text, and we will get to your YouTube, youtube.com/Earl and Cars, and we got Facebook /Earl Cars, facebook.com/Earl and Cars. Let's hear what votes we have. Rick, you got anything coming in?
Okay. We will start with Jonathan in Palm Coast. He says, Lou Backrot originally offered under MSRP, but ended up way over MSRP.
No.
The addendum level is nothing but a laundry list of useless fraudulent fees and add-ons.
Yep.
Bait and switch, dishonest, disreputable, disgusting. Whatever is less than an F is my grade.
Oh, boy.
They should have their own do not buy list of their own.
Oh, boy.
He does not like them.
He's a tough guy.
Bob says B for Backroot Chevrolet. Excuse me. Frank says, let's see, interesting mystery shopping report below MSRP. I'm sorry, folks. Below MSRP is encouraging. Still have to see what the out-the-door price actually would be. Oh, yes, the grade C+. And let's see now here. First channel, YouTube, nobody right here. Second channel, let's see, we are got Brian Sidlatko says, the out-the-door price is lower than the MSRP, equals A every day. Tom Steckel, C-. Too many moving parts. The F&I price will likely be higher than what was on the worksheet. I'd go to Wes Haney Chevrolet in Live Oak. Joseph Kelleher, D. Outrageous dock fee, reason for D grade. T-Cash, D+. Too much give and take. Instead of an $11K discount, then throwing on $3K in fees. Why not just offer $8K in discount with no fees? George Petrillo, State of Florida tag title transfer registration is $380. I contacted State of Florida Motor Vehicles, and that's what I was told. Johnny Z. Fradley says C. They could do better. And George says it's a D from me. Here we go. Let's see, Mark Smith at D. They could do way better than that. Cram 1624 says D-. I bet they make up the difference in the F&I department.
Oh, boy.
For me, I'm going to say a C+. I think they actually, they put the lift kit on basically for free.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to say a C+. I say, as long as you're careful, you might get a good deal there.
Nancy?
What does a lift kit cost, Rick?
They're listing it at $14,000, and yeah, they're expensive.
Okay, I haven't installed one lately or purchased one. All kidding aside, this mystery shopping report really takes my breath away. Here they have at the end in this mystery shopping report the fact that it's a special deal today, and that deal would involve special financing or dealer discounts. But today, they'll give you both. Run. Don't walk. Run. I give them an F.
Oh my God. Oh, boy, she's in a bad mood today, folks. Stay away from Nancy.
No, stay away from Lou Baccarat,
And Lou.
Chevrolet Coconut Creek.
Yeah, about Lou Baccarat, one thing that I mentioned is that at one time he was a leader, and I was on the stage with him in Dallas at the NAD meeting. So this is what can happen if you let your dealership go, and that's what happens. Most people don't hang on and try to manage their dealerships, and they make a lot of money, and they move to Montana, they move to the Greek Isles. I don't know where they moved to, but most of these people like Naples, they don't even know what the dealerships look like anymore, and they're in the hands of the mercenaries. Well, I think we're
Ready to wrap it up.
What's your vote, Earl?
my vote is for a C+.
Okay, C+. Okay, folks, we'll be right back here next week.